Hi, my name is Robert Myers, but my friends call me Bobby. I live in a small town in Idaho you probably never heard of. Good old Kenneth, Idaho. It's about 3 hours from Boise. Nothing exciting or different has ever happened here in Kenneth, but we're happy with it that way. As you can see, I play baseball. I'm the star pitcher for our local baseball team, the Kenneth Fighting Spuds. I'm 18, so I graduated high school last year. Next year I'm going to go to a college somewhere, but I haven't decided yet. I just thought I'd take a year off school to work on baseball. My coach tells me I have $1 million arm and that I'm a shoo-in to make it into the majors. I guess he's right because about 1,000 scouts are always here in little old Kenneth checking my arm out. My arm is sort of my future.
Hey, that's me, Tracy Moylan. I've been friends with Bobby and his little brother for as long as I can remember. They live just around the block, and Bobby and I are about the same age. Boy, we've got some stories to tell, good and bad ones. Anyway, I'm on the way to buy the latest Doors album, Break On Through. They're so great. I can't wait to listen to it. Music is my life.
Finally, there I am. I'm always the last one picked. Whatever, it doesn't bother me. I'm Stevie, or Steve, or maybe it's Steven. I need to check that out. Anyway, I'm Bobby's little brother. I'm about 2 years younger than him. I've always been kind of a tag-along, but they're starting to warm up to me. Maybe it's because I always fix their cars. Oh yeah, I know everything about cars. It's the only thing that's going to get me anywhere in this world because I don't get the best grades.
What happened last night? Everything seems so nebulous. Oh, whoops, I don't come into the story until later. Anyway, my name's Jay Simpson. I'm an orphan and I ran away from my foster family's home. I'm living on the road, moving from town to town, living off the money I get from playing air guitar. I guess you could say I'm a hippie.
Today started like any other normal day. When I got home from my baseball game, not only did my day change, but so did my entire life. I received my draft card in the mail. I talked to my parents about it and there was no dispute over whether or not I should go. I know that this is the right thing to do. I owe it to my country. Until now I hadn't thought much about the Vietnam War. The war has always seemed so far away from home. I'm actually the first kid from Kenneth to get drafted. I went to the draft office and got my physical, and within an hour I was told I would only have about 3 more weeks to spend with my friends and family. After that, I am leaving for boot camp.
I was really sad when I found out that Bobby got drafted, him being my best friend and all. I never really thought about the Vietnam War until now. We were lucky though, because this last day here, January 15th, 1967, was the first AFL-NFL World Championship game between the Packers and the Chiefs. Bobby and Stevie were going for the Packers, but I liked the Chiefs. We had a great time. It was a really good game. Even though the Packers ended up winning 35-10, it was a farewell to Bobby, since we won't be seeing him much anymore.
I'm really sad that Bobby's leaving. I barely talked on the ride over to the bus station because I couldn't get my mind off the possibility that this could be the last time I ever see him. I think I'm going to really miss him.
Today my stupid mom found my Doors album. She's always going through my stuff. I don't know why she hates my music, but she can't make me give it up. She would rather make me listen to Miles Davis or John Coltrane or some junk like that. But I like my music because it's new and hip. My father had finally had enough of so-called stubbornness and he exploded. He gave me 2 choices. Either I could live in the house the way he wanted me to, or I could leave the house. So that's exactly what I did. And in an instant, I was gone.
When Tracy came and picked me up, he was pretty mad at his parents. I kind of know how he feels since my parents do the same thing, so I agreed to go with him. We decided just to leave for the weekend.
People astray.
Man, I was walking down this road for hours and my feet were starting to blister when these 2 way groovy guys pulled up in this circus wagon and stopped to give me a ride. We got to talking for a while, and these guys were totally boss. We had a far-out conversation about the Vietnam War. They were definitely keepers, so I offered them some drugs. You should have seen their faces. They act as if I asked them if they wanted to do a triple suicide or something. They must have been really sheltered as kids. Man.
After talking to Jay for a while, he showed me how the man was trying to hold us down, and how the Vietnam War was nothing but a big conspiracy to kill innocent Vietnamese civilians and make money for big business. He told me that my parents didn't like my music because it was new and different, and that they were afraid that rock and roll was going to take over the world. Society hates Jay, but I know he's a good guy. I have to write to Bobby and tell him about Jay.
I wasn't sure about this Jay guy at first. He tried to offer some drugs, but now he's really starting to grow on me. He said that this guy made a car that can run on water, but the government burned his house, which had all his research, and then killed him because the man needs money from us suckers who buy gas. Boy, Jay is a smart guy.
Dear Tracy, I got your letter. I don't know about this Jay guy. He seems kind of weird and out there. Hope you stay away from him. Anyway, if there's a hell on earth, then boot camp is it. We have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and go run and shoot guns and all that lousy stuff. There's this jerk drill sergeant who is always breathing on my face and yelling at me. Boy, this place is miserable. I'm going to Vietnam in about 4 weeks. I'm pretty scared. Anyways, I hope things are good at home. Take care of Stevie for me. Sincerely, Bobby.
When I got home, things had cooled off and everything was going okay. I got a letter from Bobby. It was nice to hear from him, but I didn't like what he thought of Jay. He'll just have to meet him someday. Anyway, the minute things are going smoothly, something always comes and screws it all up. It doesn't seem possible, but I just got my draft card. My dad saw me tear it up, and he blew up at me. He called me a darn hippie and said I was worthless commie. He said that he was going to call the police to come and get me and send my butt to jail or Vietnam, so I had no choice but to run away. I got a few of my things and went to get Jay and Stevie. We're going to Berkeley, California.
Man, regardless of what Tracy's parents said to him, he did the right thing. I know it. Deep down in the depths of my heart, I know it like a true hippie. Tonight, I think we should celebrate Tracy's decision by tripping on some magic mushroom. I saved some for special occasions like this.
Wow, these shrooms are crazy. Woo! Man, I gotta do this stuff more often. Jay is great. I can't wait till Berkeley. Man. Oh, yes.
Watch out for the glass, guys. You'll cut yourself up. Be careful.
Dear Tracy, how could you run away? I had to come home and kick your behind right now. I can't believe you'd run away with some dirty drug addict hippie orphan. Boy, I tell you, if I could meet this Jay, I would teach him a lesson. He's turning you into a darn hippie coward. Not only are you running away and doing drugs, but you're also ripping up your draft card? You owe your country, Tracy. You're doing the wrong thing. Get your mind right, for goodness sakes. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to war in 2 weeks.
Tracy received a letter from that fascist baby killer friend of his. That guy needs to relax and discover LSD. Who does he think he's helping? People like him are the reason why we are at war right now. Anyway, we just arrived at Berkeley, and it is totally psychedelic here. A couple of friends that I met at the store said we could join a commune with them. Tracy and Stevie were a little bit skeptical about it at first, but they know that it will help us all in the long run.
Wow, life here at Berkeley is better than I ever could have imagined. There's this place in San Francisco called Haight-Ashbury where we like to go and hang out. There's all these groovy babes down there, much better than Idaho. And we're always going to these concerts of my favorite bands. I don't know how we lived anywhere else.
I got a job at the local garage fixing cars. It's not much, but someone has to bring in some dough around here. I think I like Berkeley. There are a lot of people like us around here who we can relate to and dress like us. However, the other day I was driving in my car wearing my tie-dye shirt with my long hair and playing Jimi Hendrix. I guess some old farts overheard my music. They started yelling at me. They called me a dirty hippie and a lowlife. I guess it doesn't matter where I go, I just don't get along with adults.
Dear Tracy, I haven't heard from you for a while. I've been in Vietnam for about a month now, and I have to tell you that this place is hell. I know I said boot camp was bad, but boot camp is like a picnic compared to the war going on over here. One of my friends died the other day. He stepped on a darn landmine and we had to ditch a foxhole. It was gruesome. Boy, I tell you, the Viet Cong never let up on us. We were ambushed all the time. The other day, we were walking through this forest when it seemed like machine guns started firing at us from all directions. It was bad. Hopefully I will make it out if you're alive. Or I hope my throwing arm doesn't get messed up. I hope you're getting your act together too. And I hope you're not hanging around with that Jay guy. Sincerely, Bobby.
The letter I got from Bobby today simply turned my stomach. I didn't want to know how those belligerent warmongers were having him kill innocent people. That's what it's really like, you know. We here back home have been protesting to try to help those capitalistic monkeys running our government understand that the war is a big mistake. How can they see it any other way?
Man, this is the life. I met this wonderful, peaceful girl named Daisy at this Jefferson Airplane concert, and since then, we've clicked like that. Tracy and Stevie aren't doing that bad either. They have some girls that they're clicking with also. Some people are saying that this is the summer of love. It definitely is, and there's plenty of love to go around.
Man, I'm sick of these guys eating up all my food and just plain mooching off my dough. All they do is go to protests and do drugs. They can't live like this forever. There's more to life. I'm not going to put up with this much longer.
What's all this ruckus about? Life is good, and now little Stevie's trying to ruin everything, talking about leaving and all. He doesn't do all the work. Protesting is the most important thing we can do. We're making history and changing the world. Yeah, life is good. In fact, I think I might write a letter. Dear President Johnson, the current system used in order to acquire soldiers is simply unfair. Our Constitution states that we, as Americans, have the right to pursue happiness. In our current system, individual freedom for one to choose the path of his own future is put aside. Lives are ruined, plans destroyed, and dreams shattered the moment one is drafted. Do you want to be responsible and remembered for these actions? I hope that you will see how unfair and unethical the system is, and how it changes lives drastically. I beg you to please abolish the National Selective Service System. Sincerely, Tracy Morley.
Dear Tracy, the Viet Cong have launched a huge offensive on us. It happened during the Tet New Year holiday, and we were just not expecting it. They call it the Tet Offensive. We thought that the Viet Cong would be celebrating the holidays and that they wouldn't attack us, but we were wrong. They caught us totally off guard. I was stationed in the imperial capital of Hue, South Vietnam, and this is where the fiercest fighting has taken place. My platoon and I have fought hard to defend the city, but the Viet Cong were too formidable and we couldn't keep them from taking it over. I was badly wounded in combat, so I was taken out of the battle before the VC could take the city. I lost many friends in the battle, and I don't know how I'll be able to deal with all my losses. I'm currently in the hospital in the Philippines, where the doctors are working around the clock to fix me. Hopefully I'll be okay, or at least my arm will be okay. I'll be home soon. Sincerely, Bobby.
Tracy just got a letter from Bobby in the mail. He showed it to us, and now it's the only thing on my mind. I can't stop wondering how he's doing or what happened, but I'm thankful that he's okay and finally coming home. I wonder how Jay will like him. He can't seem to think of anything good to say about soldiers, and he thinks that we should disown Bobby.
I guess Bobby plans on going back to Kenneth to visit his family. He wants me to go back home to see him, and I guess I should. I just don't want to deal with my family again. I've been living so free here in Berkeley, but I guess I'll go back for Bobby.
I heard that Tracy wants to go back to Idaho to see that baby killer friend of his. God, why can't Tracy and Stevie realize that life is here in Berkeley? They should forget about that friend of theirs who works for the man and focus on peace and love. I guess I'll just go back to Idaho with the guys. Yeah.
I couldn't believe how much Kenneth had changed. I didn't get the warmest welcome when some hippies called me a baby killer and all that other bad stuff. I was surprised by the way Tracy and Stevie looked. I was a little disappointed, but I still had an inexhaustible amount of happiness just at the sight of them. I noticed their faces when they saw that I had no arm. I've been really depressed about that lately. I'm starting to realize that I'll never play baseball again and my future is basically ruined. But I'm just glad to be back home, even though everything is different.
Wow, it was great finally to see my brother again. But I was incredulous when I saw that his arm was gone. I had no idea it was that bad. He never mentioned or hinted it in his letter. His baseball days are obviously over, but it's Bobby, so I knew he'll push past that and make something of the future he has left.
I can't believe this no good Bobby guy. He's nothing special and definitely not a war hero. Killing babies shouldn't be rewarded. I hope he doesn't influence Tracy and Stevie with his radical ideas.
It's great being back home with Bobby. It's almost like old times. Wow, the memories. Anyway, Bobby has really changed. He told me a lot about the war and how he lost his arm, but he's just not the same old Bobby that I used to know. At first, I didn't notice, but now he always seems down and never feels like doing anything. Hopefully he'll get over it.
Man, I overheard that baby killer Bobby telling Tracy some war stories, and I just lost it. I attacked him, and I guess I just get belligerent and pugnacious around jerks like him. I'd been taking some wild drugs, so there was no way that one-armed freak could beat me. I just tackled him, started kicking his face in. Wow, I just lost it. But it felt darn good to beat that jerk up. I guess some people grabbed me and held me down. If they didn't, I would have killed him. I am busting out of this lame town right away.
I went to the place that Jay was staying to try to talk some sense into him. When I opened the door, I couldn't believe my eyes. Jay was laying there dead. Some weird guy was there with Jay, and he told me that Jay overdosed. He also told me that he called the cops when he found Jay dead. There was a warrant out for my arrest because I dodged the draft, so I tried to split before the fuzz came, but I was too late. Right when I walked out the door, the cops came in. They made me stay and ask some questions about Jay. Then they ran a name check and found out that I had dodged the draft. They arrested me on the spot and took me to the county jail. I guess I screwed up bad.
God, my world is crumbling all around me. I feel like I have nothing to live for anymore with my arm and Tracy gone. This is just plain old terrible. I don't see any future for me. My future died with my arm. My spirits left when Tracy got locked up. All I got is my little bro now. And I overheard him talking about leaving too. I have nothing anymore.
Everything is crazy now. I just need to get away from this hippie life, from this town, from everything. I'm going to make a living on my own by starting my own garage. I know that I'll be okay because I basically provided for myself and everyone in Berkeley. I guess the tag-along will emerge successful in the end, unlike my brother and Tracy. Don't worry about me, I'll be okay.
No safety or surprise, the end. I'll never look into your eyes again. Can you picture what will be so limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate